My name is Jake, and today I am answering a request from my fellow subscriber Marie1313, and she asked me to review one of my all-time favorite movies. It is none other than Sultryon's The Living Wake. This movie was released June 8th, 2007, and as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty under the radar. It didn't even get a DVD release until 3 years after it premiered. And I mean, hardly anyone I've met even knows what it is, let alone has seen it. And it is a damn shame because this is absolutely one of the most unique films that I've personally had the pleasure of witnessing. The Living Wake is essentially a dark comedy about an eccentric named K. Roth Benu, played by Mike O'Connell, who I think is a very underrated comedic actor. His line delivery, something about just his voice alone, is just hilarious. And his biographer, Mills Joquan, played by Jesse Eisenberg, who is equally as amazing in this film. And upon learning the news of his grave and vague disease, quote, K. Roth decides to go with Mills on a rickshaw ride to invite a motley crew of people, as many as he possibly can, to his actual living wake. While throughout the duration of the film, K. Roth is waiting for a brief yet powerful monologue from his abandoned father, played by none other than Jim Gaffigan. And when I said it was one of the most unique films I've witnessed, I really meant tonally. This movie feels so whimsical, yet completely absurd. The delivery and comedic timing of pretty much every line in this film is so completely offbeat, but at the same time, it's so strangely impactful. It's one of those movies that, like, I mean, some might call it cheesy. I mean, it's very much inspired by Wes Anderson's films. You can definitely tell. But I mean, it still has its own sort of warmth and kookiness, while in my opinion, I don't know, maybe I haven't seen enough movies. I don't take my opinion to heart, but actually take my opinion to heart. It is not cheesy to me in the slightest. Now, Mills and K. Roth's little rickshaw ride throughout the entirety of the film is nothing short of entertaining. They disturb a funeral. They distract a farmer so K. Roth can steal a goat. They get terrorized by their neighbors that throw rusty nails at them. Rusty nails. And I have only just scratched the surface of the antics that they get into. That's not even the half of it. I want people to watch this movie so bad that I will leave the rest up to you to witness firsthand. It is the stuff of legend. I'll say this. If you want a glimpse into the humor of this film, there's a scene where K. Roth and Mills visit a psychic, and the psychic just lays down the card to reveal K. Roth's fate, and this dramatic organ just starts playing in the background, and K. Roth's like, the organ means I'm doomed, doesn't it? And then the psychic delivers one of the best line deliveries I've ever heard in a movie. She says,
Card means you're doomed. The organ's for effect.
Now, in regards to the actual living wake itself in the movie, it's a 25-minute sequence towards the end, and I won't go too into it, but let me just say, if you are a fan of one-man shows, poetry readings, not one, but two musical numbers, and absolute, complete emotional closure, I see no reason why you wouldn't come out satisfied. A few other things I loved about this film. One, of course, the cinematography by Scott Miller. This is one of the most aesthetically pleasing films I've ever seen. And I kind of, sort of, was hesitant on using that term, you know, just how millennial it is, but I mean, really, it's true. It really is. The film very obviously takes place during autumn, And everything, the trees, people's faces, the background, everything is so beautifully sort of tinted yellow and gold, I noticed. And I don't think that was really supposed to represent anything thematically. I think it was really just more to add to the richness of the film. Another huge plus for me was the friendship between K-Roth and Mills. These two actors were perfectly cast in their roles, I think. No one could have represented that sort of eccentricness and just pure absurdity better than Mike O'Connell. And nobody could have represented that sort of like observer type, very attentiveness, I'll say, of Mills or Jesse Eisenberg. And I just loved seeing those two together on screen. Whether they were bickering, whether K. Roth was reading Jack's Pants, a book he wrote to Mills. And, I mean, just every second they were on screen, I was just completely enveloped. They are a perfect, hilarious pairing. They gel just so perfectly together. And honestly, this movie could have been another hour. In regards to the theme of the film, it's one of those movies that everyone's going to get something different from it. What I really got was, life's what you make it. If you want to be that crazy, zany person who has all these ideas that people think are completely left field, really, if you're not hurting anyone, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. A lot of people may leave this movie feeling sad, without getting into spoilers, even though you probably know what happens. And, I mean, I could see why. Absolutely. I left feeling inspired. K-Roth and Mills are they are not afraid of anything, really. Afraid of failure at first, perhaps, but they are unapologetically themselves. Despite everyone's adversity, they live life exactly how they want to live it. And that is any movie with that sort of message I'm kind of a sucker for. The last big thing that I want to talk about is the music. The music throughout the film is great. This has one of the prettiest ending songs composed for a film I've ever heard. Possibly top 5. I mean, probably the prettiest orchestrated theme I've ever heard, right next to the one for Raging Bull, in which the name escapes me. But regardless, this soundtrack is not available. I cannot find it anywhere. If one of you kind souls somehow found it, please let me know. And by the way, don't skip to the ending just to hear it, just because I'm yakking about it. I guarantee you it's not going to have the same effect, and you're probably not going to skip to the right part. But regardless, it is worth watching the whole movie, just for that song. Overall, if you are a supporter or a fan of independent cinema, or if you just want a movie that's a little different, and if you have 90 minutes to spare, this movie is on YouTube. This movie is on Amazon Prime. This movie is it's one of the most easiest movies. Did I say most easiest? One of the easiest movies to access, I think. It's so worth just the little hour and a half. You are going to leave feeling... I love movies that you don't just forget about them as soon as they're over. I love the ones that stick. This is a movie that sticks because it is so unabashedly itself. This movie is not afraid to be loud or dorky or just whatever. It is so brazen and just kind of insane in the best way humanly possible. And it's not so out there to where it just completely loses touch with any sort of human emotion. this movie will hit home for a lot of people. And honestly, if I in any way can help with the exposure of this masterpiece of a film, I would be glad to do so. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Seriously, please check out this movie. Pretty please. And if you have anything else you want me to talk about or review or see, music or film related, please drop it down below in the comments. My name is Jake. I'll be back.